Let's begin, though, with a new market week featuring, as we said, a lot of data and earnings and some of these talks of the White House. Jim, what is going to be of those buckets? What's most important going into Monday?
I think it is the Janet Yellen on ABC News, because there was this moment where George Stephanopoulos, who's obviously a very shrewd observer, tried to press her on whether the president would use the 14th Amendment. And she kept coming back to saying, look, it's catastrophic. I don't think that she spoke for the president. I think she spoke for Treasury. And it's very difficult to make good investment decisions when you have a situation where someone is trying to play chicken. David, it's not clear who benefits, but one of the things that she made it clear was, listen, we're not going to pay Social Security. We're not going to pay Medicare. And we're not going to pay interest. So, I mean, well, that's like the trifecta of what you would do if you're a lesser developed country.
Yeah, it wouldn't be good.
No.
It would be chaos. Also saying that resorting to the 14th Amendment could elicit a constitutional crisis, I guess.
They would go right to the Supreme Court. The Republicans would go right to the Supreme Court, and they would win against the president.
Because that is a question. I know Lawrence Tribe, as a constitutional scholar, wrote an op-ed this weekend saying, I've changed my opinion. He previously said he thought it would be unconstitutional. Now he says it wouldn't be.
Well, it's up to the court. And, I mean, I think the president would invoke it. I mean, look, they have a meeting tomorrow. And I think that the Republicans came up with a very large number of Republicans said, look, without any sort of actual real look at the budget, which is the first time they've done that. I mean, it's just been a game of chicken without any of that. We're not going to pass it. And I don't understand how the president gets around that. If the president feels that he can say the Republicans are the reason why you didn't get your Social Security check. So I think this is a much bigger game than a lot of people think. I think that whole notion of the one thing that you don't have to worry about is that it will default. It's based on the fact that Speaker McCarthy has control of the party. Who's thought that?
Well, it's a slimmer measure of control than in prior eras. But certainly some pieces out today looking at how McConnell and McCarthy have locked arms. McConnell basically saying to the White House, you're dealing with the speaker, not me. I'm not going to get involved.
Look, I think the speaker's a reasonable person. And I've spoken to him many times. I don't think he knows the consequences here. But I just don't want to dismiss it. I don't dismiss it because, like, as we get closer and closer, I keep thinking about 2011. And there's a lot of people who weren't in the business from 2011. But there was much less rancor in 2011 than now. The Republicans and the Democrats didn't hate each other as much as they do now. And yet we still had that vicious S&P downgrade, which, remember, Tim Geithner, the Treasury Secretary, said was calculated incorrectly. It was never taken back.
No, it never was. It was never taken back. Well, if you want to trade it all, Goldman Sachs now has the U.S. debt ceiling basket.
I'm trying to get...
It's a portfolio of Delta One positions across assets, which are among the most responsive to a debt ceiling-driven risk-off move, Jim. So you got that going for you.
Well, I'm trying to get Jason Robbins to see if we can get...
But DraftKings is going to set a book on this?
He was on. Why doesn't he start doing those things? Why does it have to be limited to sports? Let me see what he says.
That's a good idea.
Let's get the line.
Up, Janet Yellen going to be joining.
Oh, she's going to be. Well, you can't beat that.
Today. Well, that's good. She's starting to communicate, saying some things that perhaps will...
Look, I mean, you have Warren Buffett.
Either scare people or get people closer together on this?
Well, yeah. Why?
Why what?
Well, if you think that you can blame the Republicans for you're not getting your Social Security check, and the Republicans blame Biden for not getting it, who has a better shot at winning the presidency? Now, we know that the polls this weekend showed that Trump beats Biden.
We're a long way from any election, and this will play out long before that.
This plays out very quickly.
Now, well, it's possible we get it, even though they've said you get it extended into the fall, and then it just gets joined with the budget process.
Well, I just think
which a lot of people believe makes sense.
I just think that in 2011 we all kind of felt, well, let's not worry about it, and then suddenly it snuck up that we should have been worried about it, and I just don't. I want to keep that in mind. That's all. Okay. I just think that was a terrible time for the Republic, where we really did feel that we would default and. Look, there's a big meeting tomorrow. Maybe the meeting goes well. But if the meeting doesn't go well, then I tell you, it's 2011.
Sure. Yeah.
And we just have to break out the 2011 playbook, which is we can take this thing right to when you don't get your check in the mail.
Yeah, and doctors don't get reimbursed, and yeah, they start prioritizing outflows, and that would be some dark period.